Thank you very much. Indeed, we had a kind of Hitchcock sequence. Yesterday there was President Trump, and today we have the final day of this first edition. Chris, please, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Justina, and welcome to all of you. I'm very, very glad to be here. But after the past week, I can honestly say I'm very glad to be anywhere other than Platz Krashinsky. I'm not usually this red, but that is why I've been spending a lot of time outdoors, getting wet, getting sunburned, and getting ready for the president's visit. I had the honor of being the embassy site lead for that particular event. And you cannot imagine how much goes into this. You think you have everything all set up, and something else always comes up. And just to give you an example of how troublesome that can be, we thought we had everything done for people's comfort and safety. We had first aid stands, we had ambulances, we had water that we supplied to everyone. Well, we had 1,000 VIPs there in the chairs in front of the president. And we realized not too long after that point that the toilets were actually outside of that area, and that the BOR, there's a Bureau Obrany Rządu, right, weren't going to let anyone back in once they left the VIP area. So we had a real problem because we had more than 1,000 VIPs, including the entire Sejm and most of the government, and they had no bathrooms that they could use, no toilets. And there was no way we were going to convince the board to actually change this, because the area where those toilets were located was where President Duda was supposed to come in. So we got to that point, and I was praying throughout that nobody drank too much water. Fortunately, it did work out, and we did make an arrangement so that people could actually get out and get back in, but they had to wade through a huge crowd of people outside the gates to do that. It just shows that you can never be too, you can never put too much foresight or too much thought into something before you do it. That goes in our lessons learned for the next time, is don't put the porta-johns outside the gates. At any rate, this has been a very interesting week, and it was very gratifying to me that the president's speech went off as well as it did, that the Polish people were as happy with the outcome, that the headlines were as good as they were. And it demonstrates the importance of the relationship between our two countries and how deep and strong that relationship is. And you are all a part of that, particularly our Fulbrighters. I'm speaking to you as sort of the outgoing chairperson of the Fulbright board, as well as a representative of the embassy. And I have had throughout my career 5 opportunities to work either with Fulbright commissions or to actually be in charge of the Fulbright program myself as a cultural attaché. It's a tremendously important tool in our foreign policy that gets us past sort of the hard elements of diplomacy and policy and into a relationship between peoples of our countries. This is, I think, for me, without that, we would never be able to relate on the higher level. And that's why we continue to invest in the Fulbright program, and we'll do that. One of our biggest priorities during the time that I have served on the Fulbright board here has been to increase the involvement of Fulbright in STEM and innovation. And that by innovation, we mean in the private sector, in the public sector, and in the NGO sector. And that this program, Top Minds, is an example of that. It's why Fulbright is involved in such things. That and the fact that we have a tremendous base of expertise among our Fulbrighters, who also have experience working with Americans in the United States and can bring to the table tremendous knowledge of their field that has been acquired both in Poland and the US. For those of you who are mentees, this is, as you are certainly aware by now, a tremendous resource and really valuable to your futures. I'm going to be going back to the United States this summer, and I'm going to be retiring from the Foreign Service, changing to a different line of work. And if I had the option of getting a Fulbrighter to mentor me before I actually take up another job, I would certainly take advantage of it, because the expertise is tremendous. It's very, very valuable. So thank you to all of your Fulbrighters for dedicating your time. As Minister Bubko eloquently said, your involvement in the program is a credit to you and to Fulbright. Your time, your skills, your expertise, and your experience are of tremendous value to the future of your mentees and to the country. I don't have a lot more to say than that, since the minister did such a good job of covering all of the basics of the program and the involvement of other organizations. We are very, very glad to have had the opportunity to help with this. I hope that the mentees will spread the word about the program in the future, since we've got another year to go. And I hope that the Fulbrighters here will spread the word among other participants in the program that this is a worthy follow-up, and that we will continue with as high a level of participation as we have here today. Thank you all very much.